Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Carole on Tuesday, episode 20. We're here with another episode of this fantastic, fantastic show, and it's going to be interesting going forward because Carole on Tuesday have now performed at the festival once again, this time to a much better reception. Um, and we also had Angela performing with Erdogan, and both performances went over pretty damn well from what we could tell. Um, so that's very good, obviously. But we really didn't even see the performance end for Carole Tuesday, which is interesting. Not bad, just interesting. Meanwhile, Angela's stalker was finally caught, thanks to help from Tao, who was showing a lot more emotion, as I mentioned last time. And that's interesting because I've been watching the series back with the English dub and seeing how he's basically even acknowledged that people have called him like a robot and all in the past. It's kind of funny looking back on that and everything. And granted, he showed emotion in that scene where he said that people have called him that before. Um, he kind of gave this goofy smile, but it always felt fake. And so it's interesting to kind of see it done in a more, natural way this time. So, yeah, I don't know exactly where this is going to go from here, but I'm excited to find out. Because we've only got a handful of episodes left, and we've got to wrap up so much. We've got to wrap up all these different storylines. We've got to show these Miracle 7 minutes what this is about. And on top of that, we still got to hopefully reveal how Carole and Tuesday are going to feel about each other in the end, whether they're going to end up romantically together or just as a couple of friends performing together. Um, One way or the other, as I've said in the past, if they end up just being friends and all, I'm fine with it as long as it's handled well, even though I do obviously ship them heavily. As long as it's handled well, as long as the series continues to be amazing, that's what matters. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to those Miracle 7 minutes because that's been hyped up since the very beginning, and we definitely want to see what that's all about. So we're just going to get right into this because I've got this and I've got a couple other things to record today. Um, Today's other reaction, and then of course She-Ra for tomorrow. But either way, let's get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So before we actually start talking about the episode, and there's quite a bit to dissect here, you may have noticed in between the pre-thoughts and the reaction itself, I changed and everything. I mean, you probably already noticed the hairstyle difference in the pre-thoughts, but you may notice I'm wearing the lipstick and the different outfit and all. After I recorded that, while I was watching myself on the OBS with the different hairstyle, just randomly decided, before I actually get into this, I'm going to just really quickly get some cool new photos. Just take some new photos of myself. I love taking photos of myself, if I'm being honest, and so I decided to take some photos just for the fun of it, basically. I put on my top, I put on this fuzzy pink cardigan that I have barely even worn since I got it. Put on some lipstick, and yeah, took some photos, and just haven't taken it off. um, but yeah, let's get into the episode. um, if you're wondering about why I'm doing the hairstyle, I wanted to try it, see what it was like, see what it looked like, if it looked good on me. I think it actually does. Maybe it'll be better once I get my hair re-dyed and everything. I'm still not a fan of the dark roots and everything, but once I get my hair re-dyed, maybe that'd look even better. I don't know. But yeah, so this episode of Carole and Tuesday, a lot happened. A lot of big stuff happened. So we're gonna go from each individual kind of aspect of it. We're gonna start with Angela's parts of the episode. So Angela is getting ready for this, the Grammys, basically, the Mars Grammys. And both she and Carole and Tuesday have been nominated, as well as Ezekiel. And I'll get to Ezekiel more later on. But she's getting ready, and she and Dahlia go to, the studio to get things ready, but Tao is not there. He calls them, he sends them a video call and telling them that he's probably not going to be able to return, which concerns me already, and that he's finished this doppelganger, this what's the word for it? Oh, I can't think of the word for it. Like this, basically a clone of Angela, but it's like completely. Oh my God. I can't think of the word for it. I hate it when that happens. Not an illusion. Illusion keeps coming to mind, but it's not an illusion, really. You know what I'm talking about. But Angela's supposed to train under this copy in order to prepare herself and everything. However, Angela's not fond of this idea. And as we see at the end, she outright rejects it. She hates this idea. She hates that she's being forced into doing things against her will and against her ideas of, how to do it all. I do believe she does want to become a singer, but she doesn't like the way that they're going about it. She doesn't like the reasons they're going about it. And she doesn't like, and she's finally standing up to her mother for basically forcing her through this in order to achieve her goal. Because I mentioned that early on in the series, like I think the first or second episode or something, that all of this was Dahlia's goal, that she had been forcing her own desires, her own wishes, her own dreams on her daughter. And you see this kind of thing a lot in real life. Parents trying to force their own desires on their children because they never got the chance to do something, they never succeeded at whatever. You could have like a parent trying to force their children into a certain field, career-wise. You could have a parent trying to force their children into going to college when they don't want to, and especially like time-wise when they don't want to, and so much more. And parents do this all the time. My parents have done this, and it's terrible. And yes, I acknowledge it's born out of a love for your children and wanting to see them succeed and wanting to see them do better than you. But that doesn't mean it's right to force your dreams and ideals on your children. They have to be able to form their own. And they have to be able to live their lives in a way that makes them the happiest, that works for them, that allows them to live to the fullest. And again, I do truly believe Dahlia cares for Angela, very much so. And that's why she's doing this. But she's doing it wrong still, and that's undeniable. Dahlia is not a bad person. She's just handling things wrong. And so, as I said, when she got angry at the end here, I didn't blame her for that, because we know, one, she's had legitimate issues with anger in the past. And two, it's something that is born out of love, even if it's really, really not the best way to show it. But at the end, it also looks like Dahlia has a heart attack or something, which we've kind of seen a little bit of already. It seems like Dahlia was not doing too well before this. But now it's definitely, yeah, that definitely looked like it was possibly a heart attack. And that might not be good. I mean, this is going to obviously affect Angela. Even though they had their arguments, I also believe that Angela definitely cares for her mother. Also, it's implied in this that Dahlia adopted Angela. So that's interesting to know. I don't know if that's fully true, but that's kind of what's implied with what Dahlia says to her in the last scene. So the fact that Dahlia is probably going to have to be hospitalized now is going to affect Angela, and is going to affect just her career and her ability to perform and all. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. I'm really invested in that storyline. But then we have Carole and Tuesday's storyline, and it mostly focuses around Carole this time, as the episode is titled Immigrant Song. And as we know, Carole is an immigrant. So Carole was born on Earth. She emigrated to Mars as basically a way to start a new life and all. So she comes up to deciding to, find Ezekiel again. She wants to reconnect with him because they were friends when they were young. So she sends him a message on Instagram using a knowledge of a trick a skateboard trick that only he would know about because it's a move that they created together. He meets her at the skate park and straight up tells her that things changed, that he's not the same person, and that their interests and ideals have drifted apart. Which kind of tells us why he was avoiding her last episode. And he basically warns her to stay away from him, to not try to contact him again because things are about to get explosive. And we find out the reason for that as we see his music video. And it's basically a big middle finger to immigration policies that are currently in place and the ideals against immigrants that are being spread by, Valerie's campaign. However, this brings to light that apparently he had not renewed his immigration card in 10 years. And because of this, and obviously because of his statements, he is arrested. And forgot to mention before as well that Tao was also arrested. So we had two big arrests in this. Carole's old friend Ezekiel, or Amel, or was it Amer? Either way. Ezekiel was arrested because of his music video and new song. And let's be honest, it was mostly because of that. And even Carole was like, "What? Why now?" Because, again, it's been expired for 10 years, and it's because of the video, let's be honest. And Tao was arrested because of something he had done years and years in the past as well. But this was because he refused to work with Jerry and help with Valerie's campaign. Jerry had already threatened him, and presumably his continued refusal to support them was what caused all of this. Jerry got the police and all involved, just continuing to prove how much of a fuckwaffle he is. But yeah, so Tao has been arrested, and so has Ezekiel. Carole and Tuesday pledged together to just keep going, to write a new song, and just keep at it, to not let anything like this get them down. But we do see that Spencer is talking to Kyle, I think his name was, the reporter, and it's kind of confirming what I already could tell, that Jerry was more than likely behind the bombing at the weather plant. And it was super obvious just everything lined up. It just worked way too well with the ideals and platform that Valerie was running on. So yeah, it was kind of obvious already, but I like that we're kind of getting that confirmation now. And we see a little bit of Carole and Tuesday working on their album and stuff and getting ready for the Grammys. And I'm starting to wonder. I mean, it's said that the Mars Grammys are supposedly a ways off still. Is that going to be where the Miracle 7 Minutes happen? Because that's the one thing that this series has been building up to this entire time. And if this is still a ways off, and they're going to show it, I'm fully sure they're going to show these Grammys. With only a handful of episodes left, it's got to be, right? That Miracle 7 Minutes has got to be the Grammys. Something, whether it's going to be their performance or something else, something big is going to happen that's going to change the landscape of music forever. And they're going to be at the center of it. I mean, we know that because the intro in each episode that talks about the Miracle 7 Minutes shows Carole and Tuesday. It shows their eyes as they're looking, presumably up, as you see like confetti or whatever. So yeah, that's really interesting, and I'm wondering exactly where that's going to go. And I understand why they would have it be something like the Grammys, even if it's a Mars equivalent of such, because that's like a big deal for any musician to be nominated for a Grammy and possibly even win. Yeah, like that's huge. That's like when you know you've made it. And with Angela now second guessing things, and with her mother having this medical emergency and her producer being arrested, there's a lot of issues that comes on with her side of things, and who knows where that's going to go. There's a lot of big things that they're setting up with this episode. And this is really showing us that we are getting into the end game here. We are entering the climax of this series. And these next episodes are going to be huge. They're going to be something special. They're going to be a big deal for our characters, their development, their continued growth, as well as just in general, the plot of the series, the story itself. It's coming to a head on all fronts. And we only have a handful of episodes to close all this out. But they're showing us that, yeah, they've got this. And, I mean, I trust in that. Because it is Shinichiro Watanabe, and even though I'm not, like, the biggest fan of most of his works that I've seen, I do still enjoy them. I do still enjoy Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and Terror and Resonance. I do still like the shows. I do think they're a little overrated, which is ironic because now this show is underrated, mostly due to the Netflix jail situation it was in. And even now that part one's been released on Netflix, it's still not getting as much attention as it deserves. Yeah. But anyways, with Shinichiro Watanabe helming this, with Studio Bones behind it, yeah, I have no doubt it's going to end on an amazing note. And I've danced around with it for a long time now. And I think it's been confirmed by rewatching through the episodes for me. Because I've watched scenes and stuff before, and I maybe watched one or two episodes second time here and there. But for the most part, I haven't really watched through the series again. Watching through it again with the dub, since that released, watching through it with the dub, I've really started to notice things that were set in motion a lot earlier than I thought they were. And I've really just learned to appreciate everything that much more. Which is insane to think about because of how much I already loved and adored and appreciated the series. But that's the fact. I learned to appreciate that much more through rewatching with the dub. And yeah, some of that is due to the hype that I'm going to actually meet Brianna Knickerbocker, the English voice of Tuesday, at YomaCon um, at the end of next month, beginning of November. There is a lot of hype surrounding that, and yeah, because of that, my general hype in the show has also increased a lot more. But through noticing a lot more stuff and just coming to realize how much work they've put into this, even more so than I already knew, it's become just completely irrefutable to me. And you know what I'm talking about. And I'm trying hard not to break down as I did with the last time I made an announcement like this. You guys know when I first announced that My Hero Academia took over as my favorite anime of all time from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I cried. And I'm trying hard not to do that right now, and I'm really trying hard um, because this show has just come to mean so much to me. It's connected with me personally, and it's become something that I not only just love and adore, but I really feel connected to, that I really care about, that I really needed in my life. And I know that might sound corny and everything to say, oh, like I needed this show and everything. It came at a time where I needed it and stuff. But it's true. I've talked about it many times how I deal with all of these issues in my life. Not just external issues like the people who speak down to me and abuse me and shit, but internal issues. From my Asperger's disorder to my chronic depression and extreme anxiety. I have a lot of issues that plague me every day. And there's a lot of days where I have to force myself to get out of bed because of how down I'm feeling. And a lot of days I even have to force myself to record reactions, even when I'm not feeling up to it all the time. And it's shows like this, specifically like Carole and Tuesday, that make it not only worth it, but make me so happy that I did get up, that I did react. It's shows like this that improve my mood 100 times and just completely wash away all my fears, all my anxiety, all my doubts, all my self-hatred. And so, yeah, it means a fuck ton to me to formally say that I am declaring it now. Because I don't think these last few episodes, these last handful of episodes, will be bad enough to change it. Even if it's not the best ending. I am declaring Carole Tuesday as my favorite anime of all time. I'm not going to jump the shark too much, though. I'm not going to say it's my favorite show of all time quite yet. Because I do need to see how it ends for that. Before I can just completely make a statement like that, I do need to see how that ends. But I think it's pretty clear that it's up there for my favorite shows of all time. And if it's not number one, it's pretty guaranteed that it's number two at least. So, Yeah, just seeing how much effort and care and just meaning was put into every single second of this show is so important. And I hope that other people out there are as moved by it as I have been. I hope that this touches on a lot of important notes for a lot of people. And I hope that it changes lives, because it certainly changed mine. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tell me what you thought of the episode down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you want to check out any of my social media links and more, please check them out over to the side. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave those down below. In the meantime, though, thank you so much once again for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.